Hey everyone, just before we get into the video, unfortunately the racing audio is gone out of sync with everything else now. I don't know where along the line it's gone, but unfortunately I've tried fixing it and I'm unable to change it in any way, shape or form. I believe it was recording, it has gone badly wrong there because the file seems to be a bit weird, as well as I cannot for whatever reason get it to be normal. So unfortunately the races will have audio, but they will be completely out of sync, so I'll be braking while I'm accelerating in audio. So I do apologize. I will look into it going forward. I'm not really sure as of right now what's caused it, but I hope to have a solution soon. But anyway, into the video we go. Hello and welcome everyone back to round 3 of the European Superbike League on GP Bikes. Now today we are off to Assen, the Cathedral, for probably one of the tracks that when the calendar was released I was looking forward to most. This would be a track that's always been known as the rider's track, so sometimes the bike doesn't always make the difference here. So coming into this one I was hoping for a good weekend, but the week leading up to it, or as I like to call it usually the weekend as a race weekend, I had lots of issues with my own internet, so my practice was very limited compared to what I usually do. So I was actually coming in slightly underprepared from what I'm usually at, so I was actually coming in feeling like that I was up against it a bit. So as you'll see in a second, we jump to our qualifying lap. So coming into it I was a bit more nervous than usual because I felt like I hadn't got that overall flow and rigidity and just everything nailed down. Now in the end, in qualifying, you can see at the moment we're P2 behind Nurb, so far we have done a decent lap. My PB coming into this session was a 33.9, and now the fact that already I think in this session we've done a 34.0, I was already kind of bang on pace and I was really happy. So the setup change I made in the last kind of evening before the race, it actually seemed to work, and even in the lobby I was making setup changes, which is just not me at all. I'm usually, if you have a race of a Sunday, usually Tuesday or Wednesday is when I make my final kind of adjustments to my setup, and then you stick with it. And now if you figure out something's badly wrong or if something goes wrong, you change it. But usually you just get up to speed with it and you just dial it in ever more with your riding. But you can see here now on this lap we are halfway around, up by about 2/10, so we're on for a pretty decent 33. Now as you'll see in the majority of the races, the riding standards unfortunately in this one isn't great from everyone. So as we'll get into it, at the time of recording right now I don't even know what the results are, because there's going to be so many penalties handed out for people using the green, as well as loads of incidents. Now I have edited in a lot of it, so you will actually see more incidents from other people. So unfortunately it's just part of the game really, that unfortunately people make mistakes, but there's just certain things over the last couple of rounds that are making me think that maybe after this league I might just sit out a few. I'm not too sure of everyone's level. It's a bit annoying when you'll see in the race as it goes on, so many incidents they're just a bit stupid and just a bit clueless. But we end up setting a 33.9. That's my ultimate fastest PB that I've done in any session, so I'm pretty happy. Unfortunately we do get pipped in the last 30 seconds by Gonzalo Molina. That V4R is rapid around here. I've been behind it many times in a few practice sessions and it is just on rails, and of course Molino is no slouch himself. Nurb of course takes pole, no really doubt there, and I round out P3. Shout out to Triton in P4, Ben P5, and Phil Mitchell in P6 is actually my teammate. He was messing with his nickname the night before and it didn't change back, so if you do see Phil Mitchell, is the famous biker 7202. Now 4 red lights for race 1. Hold my breath as always. I always try to get the best launch. We have the TV cam in the top left corner. We also have the controller overlay to the left. Norb gets a belting start for the first time I've seen in a long time. That's my teammate Phil Mitchell up the inside. He pulls out of it. Ben is a touch wide, so we capitalise on it. Now unfortunately we do switch this camera here. This is Reese and Molina. Molina just rides into the side of him. A bit unfortunate for my teammate because he does nothing wrong. He's a lead rider. If you're the rider behind, it's up to you to make the overtake clean. Molina did apologise and say it was his fault, but again that's just really unfortunate because now I don't want to single out Molina because it's not exactly him, but there's just a lot of instances in this race where you just think there's no need for it. It's literally turn 2, just a bit more caution from everyone, a bit nice, and unfortunately now Reese's race is run already and my team will be dropping points. So already straight away for some reason I felt like I could actually close on Nurb on corner entry and I wasn't losing any time. Ben is sticking with me and he gets an absolute retardedly good run out here, and unfortunately, or whatever he does, he goes across me on the brakes, which was very strange, quite dangerous, but he does go wide and so does Nurb. So we get back past him. But unfortunately here now you see Nurb goes wide and he just had a little slide of the rear boot now, and unfortunately that makes me just hesitate, which means Ben has a run on me. So coming through here now, he was just there, and that R1 is hooking up nicely, and he goes for it. And probably the worst place on the track you go for it. I get pushed out onto the green, but coming through here now, he goes really aggressively and it goes wide. He's very lucky to stay on the track there, but we do end up getting back in P2. At this point in time now, I'm looking at Nurb and seeing that he's a bit weaker than he usually is, so not that he's slow or anything, but we messed up the chicane then trying to stick ahead of Ben, get all over the curb. We got a poor exit, and to be fair, I kind of just got out of his way as much as I could there because I knew he had the run. So as we start lap 2, a couple of little mistakes and a couple of incidents with Ben has just pushed me back further from Nurb, and realistically if Nurb gets into the room, it is game over. He is Lorenzo-esque where he just puts in the lap after lap after lap. So unfortunately even now I was just thinking to myself, that's probably the race win gone if Nurb doesn't shit the bed, which he is not known for. So usually if he gets to the front, it's a battle for second, but at this point in time now, that R1 looked like he was getting out of the corner ridiculously good compared to me. You can just see how much he pulls up there, and I was thinking, geez, he has some serious pace, Ben. And so at this point, just trying to take some time out of the high speed stuff, which is where I've always been strong on any racing game, really, is the high speed stuff, the flowing stuff. And you see we're right on the back of them again, so I'm thinking there now, where can I plot a move? It's still not too late to catch Nurb if we can get ahead this lap and maybe make a really good attempt. And we're all over the back of Ben. We have a look into the right hander, he's a bit wide. Again, it's a double exit corner, so he's just going to open the throttle and just kind of cut across my nose, and he has a position. But now I get to run back through here now, and we should switch in a second to the TV cam right on cue. I got a great run through there with a bit small bit slipstream. You can see he has a look, so he's aware I'm there, and unfortunately again he makes the same mistake and runs straight off track this time. So I think the look over his shoulder just took the eye line. He has a habit of looking over his shoulder probably some bad times, but that was his undoing, and that has put me into P2. Now the gap to Nurb isn't anything ridiculous. It is still probably catchable if he makes a mistake or two. 34.8 already. The 34s is the race pace you want to be in anyway, and 34 is good. Now for me, 34.8 is slightly on the slow side now, but I was battling Ben, and I kind of was, when you have someone in front of you, always go a bit slower. So you can see here now we're currently going under, but it probably won't be enough to bring Nurb back into clutches. He's just 1.8, 1.9 ahead, where usually you just kind of tick off the laps and start to push now. To 2 seconds is where you want to be. You want to have about 2 seconds from the rider behind, really, which is a comfortable spot. I had about 3.5 back to Ben now after his mistake. So for me, I wasn't really thinking about Ben's pace now at this point. Now I was just trying to do absolutely perfect lines, perfect apexes, perfect everything to catch now, but it wasn't really working. He's taken another couple of tenths out of me this lap already, and we're only in touch with the high 34. So as much as this looks like it is my pace, it surely, unfortunately, again doesn't look like it is enough for me. Now you can see in this sector here, every lap I do actually take time out of Nurb. It's just a commitment maybe, or maybe the Honda, whatever, but I just seem to be really quick through there, using all of the track out to the curb. Looked like Nurb was on the grass ahead as there was grass on track. I really am fast through this part of the track. It's my favourite part of the track, just the commitment side of it. And you can see on the, I think it should update now that we drop back under the 2 second margin to him. So we're quicker in some spots, but unfortunately not enough. He does just tick off the laps like I said he would. Pulls a gap out. Ben was no more of a threat after his incident on lap 3. And there was loads of back markers that we had passed throughout the race, and every time I saw a yellow flag and someone getting up out of the gravel, and there was a lot of people crashing and running off and all over the green and stuff. So it's just a bit of a messy race coming through. I think a lap 6 people, and every time I caught someone past them, I was hoping it would be, I'm not hoping it was Nurb, but I was thinking, oh, maybe this is Nurb. But no, in fairness to him, he doesn't make any mistakes, and we're about 6 seconds back of him at the moment now. So my pace, you can see, he's dropped into 35s at this point. Ben is about 4 or 5 seconds behind. His pace just wasn't as mine. So for me, I was just able to kind of bring it home after about lap 6, 7. I knew Nurb realistically had it covered. And again, I see green flag, so I thought that might be someone down, but usually green flag is someone behind you. But no, it wasn't to be. Nurb, he takes 5 points off me, and the championship lead coming into this was 11 points, so it's now down to 6. As far as I know, every result in this one should stay the same, especially between me and Nurb. I don't think either of us have got penalties for this. So up to the line, P2 again, if you're following Nurb home, it's pretty much you're beating everyone else. That's pretty much the best you can do. Nurb on most days is unbeatable, barring a mistake or two. But again, his pace, maybe in race 2, if I can get away a bit better, I might be able to pull something out of it. Nurb wins it, I'm second. Ben gets a nice podium for himself. My teammate recovers very well to P4. Speedy in 5. VS Master, who's new to this league, is in P6. And Melina, unfortunately, who was very, very quick in practice, down in P7 after a terrible start. I believe he does crash after the incident early on with Biker. Now, coming into race 2, goal was to get ahead of Nurb into the opening couple of corners. He got a good start in race 1. Usually his starts aren't his best thing, so hopefully I was thinking maybe I could just jump him at the start, but we're going to cut now in second 2, a replay cam, and it's going to be of a rider you've probably never seen. And you'll see here in a second what in the name of God is this guy going to do. So TV cam, he jumps it by about a second and a half, flies up the inside of me, so he just pins it and goes. He was on the second last row of the grid, so he leads into turn 1. My teammate again has a look up the inside. I actually get to jump this time on Nurb. Now Melina just pushes him wide. I do not waste any time. My teammate follows me through, and that is up into P2. Now Melina's pace is good, but I do feel if I get down to my rhythm, I'm quicker than him and a bit more consistent. So the fact that he was ahead of me, I wasn't too concerned, but I knew he had decent pace and he would pull me away. But we'll go back to Javi, and this is the guy that made the jump start, and he takes out 1, 2, 3, 4 people, I believe. This guy's gotten penalties in the last like 4 races, so again, go back to what I said at the start, the rider quality just not being there. Now already Nurb is down to P4, so at this point of the race now I really just need to push on. But if you look at the TV cam here, now it looks like there that Biker goes across the line, but on board with Biker is a good bit ahead and Nurb comes across him a bit. Now it's very hard to say because you're doing about 110, 120 miles an hour there, and unfortunately I make a big mistake in there. The bike just doesn't settle down. I lose probably 2 or 3 tenths to Melina. So unfortunately that was Reese in the gravel, Nurb in the gravel. But I don't know what the verdict on that is yet. I'm still waiting on the result. Now before the video goes live I will have the results done, so I'll voice it up as far as I can, and then it'll be left, and I'll revise the reviewed standings and everything. So when the video actually goes live, that will be the set of standings. But I've just made a few mistakes on this lap now after seeing Nurb down and my teammate down. And Melina in front isn't doing amazing pace. We got a terrible run through the curve there, and we end up cutting the green, so I put my hand up for the rider behind. It was VS Master, who is new to this league, and in fairness he doesn't do much practice VS, but then he joins the league and is ridiculous quick. To be honest, I was talking to Reese about this. I believe VS Master is very much underrated in terms of his pace. A lot of people know him as a guy that makes mods, and to be fair, when you make kind of mods, probably more popular for that than your actual riding. But he's joined league races before and usually doesn't practice and come in, and he is absolutely rapid, and he's a bit underrated because like he was about 2 seconds off in the practice session, but now here I am lifting and this guy just clung to the back of me. So at this point now I was kind of aware he was there, but I was still trying to focus on pulling Melina, who's making the odd mistake ahead, so I was being encouraged by his mistakes. You can see he's a bit wide there again, so I was just trying to take a small bit of time out and get close to him. Now that V4R is impossible to overtake because of the way it puts the power down out of the corner, as well as how good it is on the brakes. Of course Melina as well, like I said, is quite quick, so he's not going to be good to be overtaking that easily. So we're just trying to put in consistent lines here, get the tyres in the window, get the bike up to speed. But VS Master is just sticking there. You can see my radar to the left of my heads up display. It's just constantly flashing with him getting in the range. So he gets a great run through there. He picks up the slipstream, but so far I'm pretty consistent. He goes a bit hot in there. Again, when you get to slipstream in this game, you pick up so much speed, so it probably just got dragged in. But going through here again, not too bad. It looks like the gap between Melina and myself is just maybe coming down. Straight away a low 35, so pace actually I remember thinking at the time, it's not as high as it should be. I wish I was kind of about half a second quicker that lap. Already even on lap 2 you really want to be straight into the 34s if you want to go with the leader, and it was just slightly not there. You can see now the rider behind VS Master has a look in the double right, a very tricky corner. Melina is very wide there. Now he will square it off on that Ducati and get a good run up the hill, but you can see the gap is down to less than a second, so we are gaining. Now we need to keep this pace up, and you can see already VS Master is looking nearly everywhere to get past me, so he's doing so well considering he has very little practice done to be even this close to me, never mind pushing me along. Now, like I said, my pace just wasn't amazing at the start. Melina wide again, and we are getting ever so close. So at this point now, we have to just, hopefully we can stay together, and we can kind of get up to the back of him, and then we can have a three-way battle. But it looks like VS Master is getting impatient, because that red arrow is getting very hot and glowing at the most braking zone. So it looks like he is trying to force a move on me somewhere. So lap 3 here now, we're not a half race distance yet. So for me, I was pretty confident and kind of happy to be at this pace behind Melina. Again, you can see how fast he is through there. And we come through here again. The arrow just gets a little bit darker each lap. He just has a lot of entry speed. In fairness, he really runs the bike in hot. Again, Melina, it looks like this lap has taken a small bit out, but he's a bit deep in the chicane that time. And we come up to the line. That is a very, very tidy lap at 35.5 for me, so pretty decent lap. We cut now to the next lap. VS Master once again is all over me, makes a mistake into the fast section, almost tags the back of me, and I actually sit up a small bit, which compromises my run. So I knew coming in here, as we switched to the TV cam, that he was going for it. So I cut back to the inside, then I try to get the drive up past him, but unfortunately we come together, and down we go. And at the time I thought it was completely VS's fault, but again, when you crash in a race, you always blame it. And of course, then I respawn, and OG Sleepy just slaps into side me and knocks me off. So lost two or three positions. I lost position to Devella, who's just going past now the host. Keity Lemon jumps into P3, and OG Sleepy takes P2. So at this point now, I was absolutely fuming. Now, watching it back, both riders have a part to play. I kind of blame myself. I think VS Master said himself that he felt like he couldn't change direction of the bike, so we both kind of just glided towards it. I felt like I was wheeling slightly, so unfortunately I don't know if there's going to be any penalties handed out for that. This is Tavera, the host. I'm just turning it on there, so instantly back up to P4. Already now I'm trying to get my hooks into Keity Lemon and drag that gap back to about 3 seconds up the road. So for now, he is the main target to get back on the podium at least, because Nerb being out now. You might notice on the timing screen, Nerb is not there. He missed a gate when he crashed through here, which means he's a lap down. Now, he will be given back that lap because it was just a game kind of glitching out more than anything. So he is around P7, P8 at the moment, I believe, judging from where he was at the time. Now we jump forward to the midway of lap 6, and we are taking a massive amount of time out of Keity Lemon, so looks like he probably won't be able to hold on to the podium if we have anything to do with it. But just going back to the VS incident, it was just, he went deep trying to pass me. I tried to cut back underneath him. I tried to square him off, get the run, which I do. He just comes back across. I'm trying to get past him. It's just my idea, in my own opinion. It's slightly on me, but towards a racing incident. I probably should have maybe seen that he was going to come back. Like, he obviously has to come back, but in the heat of the moment, I wanted to stay ahead of him. I wanted to chase down Melina, and the fact that he threw the lunge into the chicane, I felt like, right, he's not going to be able to get that stop turn and power past me still. So I was in my own head thinking that I was like, grand, I have to make sure that I get back past him into turn 1, because I felt strong on the brakes. But fortunately, it just ended in contact, and we both went down. And then of course the second incident with OG Sleepy, who slapped into side me, he ploughed through me, really cost me another bit of time. That another couple of seconds really cost me, because I probably would have spawned behind Keity Lemon straight away, and then the gap to OG Sleepy wouldn't have been that bad. Keity Lemon goes defensive into turn 1 and completely gets the corner wrong. You can see he ends up going deep and has to pick the bike up, so an easy overtake on the two riders that we lost position to. Now you will see here in a second that the gap to OG Sleepy is about 5 seconds. Now we're on lap 7, so we've about 3.5 laps left, so it's going to be ridiculously hard to get that back. Now this is where penalties come into it. I don't know if he's been clean throughout the race. I don't know if I've been clean throughout the race. I don't know if I'm going to get a penalty for the VS incident. So going forward, regardless of where I finish in this one, I don't know if it's actually my finishing position. We do jump forward now to the start of lap 9. The gap has come down to OG Sleepy significantly. I've been putting in 34s, and I've been pulling him in. Now again, just like race 1, I've been getting lots of back markers and lots of people in my way. Now in fairness, for me, I can't say the same for everyone. For me, the back marker has been very good, pulling off, throwing up the hand and kind of leaving me through, unlike round 2. But for others, I have heard complaints that back markers are just clueless. I've seen footage of Reese's race where through this sector on the last lap, just like 3 people crash. Javi, the guy at the start who jumped and knocked off 3 people, he's again at a massive fault again in one of those things. So can see for me, riders pulling to the left and leave me through. In fairness, I have to applaud them because they're doing the right thing. And at this point I was really, again, throw up the hand just to say thanks. At this point I'm really pushing out to try and catch Sleepy, because at the moment I don't know where Nerb is, and I knew that he wasn't after rage quitting, and I knew he wasn't going to be down in P10 or below, so I knew there was something going on funky with the timing screen. So I had to, in my head, get back OG Sleepy, because that was 5 points in the difference. So I was really thinking to myself that I really needed to push on and catch him. And you can see he's gone wide there. He's cut completely across the green. So that is definitely him been on the green at least once or twice in this race. So again, it's 5 times on the green, you get a penalty. So coming into this last lap, the gap is about 2 seconds. You can see him just ahead of me there. We're going deep into turn 1. We're really pushing on now. It's unlikely I'm going to catch him, but you just have to be close to people in this league, because you just don't know with the penalties. They've really started to stomp down. They have an official kind of track limits man who's kind of doing all the business, so the results will take slightly longer in time going forward, but the overall racing should be a bit more cleaner and the results will be more refined, because there's a lot of blackguarding of people just absolutely taking the piss with the track limits. So they have to be punished, and especially if they end up in some of the top positions and that's the way they ride, they need to be punished. So going forward, we'll see. We don't know what the results are at the moment, so we're going to just keep pushing on. But I knew at this point that if I could get close to him, I was ridiculously quick in the last sector, I might be able to make a move. But it was going to be hard. The gap already is still quite big, and he's not that slow. So for me, it was just get as close to him, see if I can pass him. If not, be within a second of him. I think you get a 5-second penalty if you touch the green 5 times. So for me, if he goes off enough times, he will get a penalty, and that's my idea. If I'm close to him and he gets the penalty, I get the position. So currently it looks like it's going to be P3. We're absolutely flying on this last lap. The tyres are pretty worn now. We're still on for a low 35, low 30 or high 34. In fairness, he does take the last chicane very gingerly. He does give away a lot of time. You can see how hard we're pushing the front ducks, the rear goes. And across the line for P3, our first crash, 1.4 off at the end. So as of right now, it is Molina who takes his first win. I don't think that will be disputed, really. I don't think he had any other issues after me and VS collided. OG Sleepy and P2 for now, me P3 for now, and pretty much everyone else. I don't really know if there's going to be penalties involved. I'd imagine there is. There's already riders who've gotten penalty. Javi got one for the jump start and taking up many people. So going forward, you can see Nerb down in P14. He does actually finish slightly higher than that, but we will get to the results now. We're actually going to jump ahead now in time, because now I'm going to have to end it off because I don't know the results, so I can't finish this video. So the next time you hear my voice, I hope to have the results in front of me. So just as I end off the previous audio section that you just heard a second ago, I ends the session, puts it into my editing software, lines it all up, goes to Discord, and guess what? The results are sitting there in front of me 2 minutes beforehand. So all that work of, oh, I don't have the results, I don't have the results, and they're sitting in my Discord. So what a donkey. But as you can see on the screen now, we have race 1 on the left, race 2 on the right. We're going to focus straight away on race 1. So Nerb keeps his victory. There was no doubt there. Nerb is fairly clean overall, so there was no question he'd keep his win. I keep P2 and Ben keeps the podium. So everyone in top 4 stays the same. Now if you look down the bottom, there was jump starts, none. Did not start from Mikey. Again, he had issues. This is his first round. Speedy XITA had a 10-second penalty from the previous race of hitting and knocking me into the gravel in Vallelunga. OG Sleepy crashed out and retired. Doc Monster crashed out and retired. Triton crashed out and retired. Kitty Lemon got a long lap. Adrian Sarah got a long lap. Javi GQ got a long lap. Alex got a long lap. Alex Noguera also got 2. So the 2 Alexes got double long lap penalties. Speedy Italia triple long lap penalty. Let that sink in. That means if my calculations are correct, he went off the track 15 times in 10 laps on the green. In my opinion, they're only monitoring the heavy zone, so don't think they've watched his whole race. Like, absolutely bonkers how they did it. But anyway, I'm going to jump now to race 2. So you'll see in this one, Gonzalo Molina keeps his win, no question there. Again, like I said, he was very clean. I get promoted to P2. Norb comes out of absolutely nowhere, comes home in P3. OG Sleepy ends up in P4. Tavella, the host, is in P5. VS Master, after crash with me, unfortunately ends in P6. Speedy in P7. Keith Lemon P8. Biker, after a shocking race 2 with incidents with other people all out of his hands, unfortunately down to P9. Mattis Neto in P10. Duck Munster P11. John Ninja P12. Neguera Mick Havana in 13th to 14th. Adrian 15th. Javi GQ is in 16th, and Alex rounds off at P17. Now again, so unfortunately next race Ben couldn't start, having a lot of issues. Mikey again didn't seem to get into the race or whatever, and I don't know what Triton's issues were, but he didn't start, I don't think, in race 2. Now again, if you look down the bottom, so just like I said, Triton, Ben and Mikey didn't start. A long lap penalty for Tevea, not too sure what he did there, probably 5 touches of the green. Doc Monster, long lap penalty. OG Sleepy, who came ahead of me by about 1.5 seconds, got a double long lap penalty, that's worth 10 seconds, hence why Nerb has been promoted onto the podium. Speedy Italy gets another double long lap penalty, that's 5 long lap penalties he got in 2 races. Adrian Serra, triple long lap penalty. Javi, triple long lap penalty. Alex, triple long lap penalty. So like, we go back to what I said at the start of the video, for the riding wasn't just good today, it's just overall it's just not good enough in this league in my opinion. And like triple long lap penalties, I just don't know what to say about that. Like, there's like people getting 6 long lap penalties over the 2 races. This is not good enough. And I have no problem with people being slow, but the fact that they're just absolutely abusing track limits, taking people out, jumping starts, and there's just a lot of clueless riding. It really just isn't good for the championship and going forward. And I hope Tevea and his crew can kind of get a handle on it, because it really will ruin some good fun racing that we can have with some of the fast guys in this and stuff. And it's a good place for a lot of people to learn, but it's just currently it's not perfect. But we're going to have a quick look at the championship standings before we end off today's video. I lose 1 point today, but I keep my streak of being first and second in every race so far after OG Sleepy's penalty. Nerb 10 points behind Ireland versus USA, it looks like, for the run-in for the championship. Molino 41 points behind me now, gets his first victory, fabulous victory, absolutely dominated at the front. But I do reckon at this point now he is out of the title hunt. My teammate Biker drops behind Molina after a pretty poor weekend, taken out 3 times over the 2 races, as well as had to avoid a lot of pretty poor back markers from his footage. So unfortunately the Biker is in P4. Ben, after missing a race, makes a massive gap back to P5. So it looks like maybe Keithy Lemon could jump Ben if things go his way. After that, did not start in race 2 at Aston, it really affected Ben. VS Master already after only 4 races up into P7. Tavea is in P8. Matthias Neto P9, and Adrian Serra running up the top 10. Right, that is where I will leave round 3. We have 2 more rounds to go. Now we do have a week off this week, so it will be middle of February now before we have the 4th round, which comes from the Slovakia ring. Now, a track I've never been to, never raced, no previous experience, so it will be a bit of an interesting one. I did about 10-11 laps at the place last night. It is really flowing, lots of elevation, and quite fast, so it's going to be critical you kind of get consistent there, because a mistake or a crash at this place could be 10-20 seconds worth if the bike does act the bollocks in the gravel. So it's going to be a different type of league race. It'll be an attritional one as well. The tyre wear, which I've never really had issues with, seems very high at that track, which is very unusual. So I don't know what it is. The track feels incredibly smooth. It's like a snooker table. It's really smooth, but the tyre wear does seem rapidly high. But anyway, that is where I'm going to leave it for today. If you have enjoyed any of the races today or any of the series, drop a like down below. Subscribe to see more league racing on this and other games going through the future games. And I shall leave it there. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye bye.